Alright, so I'm back. I got this thing on the bench here. What I was talking about before, I believe this is the head off of a Mastermatic. The body, the base itself says Master, but this piece here, this is the bottom cover to the motor housing. Somebody's modified that to fit perhaps up against the machine where it didn't belong. I don't really know. I haven't gone back to look at the machine to see if that was carved out of there for a reason or what. But if you look, it's really hard to see, but I try to. If you look right down there, right there, so focus, there is a gear. There's a gear down in there. And that gear mates up with this worm section of the shaft. It goes down in there so that when this turns, obviously it turns that gear. There's a micro switch down in there so that when it rotates along, there's a pin in it, and when it rotates to that pin, it engages a micro switch, which I believe then reverses the motor. Now, to engage that, there is a pin that when you lower this head unit, motor housing, down to the jar like you would on, I'm not going to move that. Oh my God, this pin here pokes down into that little hole, which also contains a micro switch. You can hear it there. So that would mean when, what I believe is when this head is lowered, this interfaces with either the jar or the edge of the heater, or probably not the heater. I believe it just interfaces with the edge of the jar and depresses that micro switch, and that's what causes the back and forth. Without that being engaged, it just goes a single direction so that you can then crank up the speed. For instance, like when you want to raise the basket up a little bit and spin out the extra fluid. Sorry, I know this is really kind of a weird video, but you kind of have to already know how one of these watch cleaning machines works to know what the heck I'm talking about. But yeah, so I was looking at all different ways to modify a regular L&R Master to do the reciprocating or oscillating, however you want to call it, motion on the basket, and I'm thinking that somebody has already done that by taking this head, which again, if you look here, model MA, the ones I've seen were like that were on a Mastermatic. So I don't really know. But there's clearly more to this than just a one-way motor. So I'm going to continue to take it apart and see what's up. I've got to replace the main wire. The jacket on this wire was just crumbling in my hands. It was so bad. So I've got a nice replacement for that. In fact, it's the same stuff I used on the other the machine that I got from India with the subpar cord. So this is actually pretty much identical to the same flexibility, same size, same everything as the original stuff. And this has actually, it's like a black, it's not whatever this is, probably hemp or whatever kind of string this is. This is actually like a nylon or a fiberglass, probably just nylon inside there, but it's even got that same sort of support inside of it. So yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't do a little of this desoldering right on camera. Got my iron already hot here, so get a little. Oh. Yep, this is definitely a three-handed operation. Try the other side. Oh yeah. Well, sorry guys. This may be an off-camera kind of scenario. All right, I'll be back. Wow, what an absolute pain in the ass. So I've got that loose now. I managed to desolder both sides. I'm not going to screw with that. Bending all that. Bending that wire too much. Get this. There's a couple of wires that are sort of in the way here. I want to get those out of the way. And see one here. I don't know if you can see that. See, this one's all chewed up. This white wire. It's chewed up there, and it's chewed up where. Yeah, you can't really see it, but right down to the bare conductor. So really needs to be changed. I'm hoping, I think that these will screw in. As we'll find out in just a moment. Ooh. Lord. The one thing you must not do is break these brush holders. So we're just going to leave them in for now. So here's a resistor, which would be for limiting the speed, I guess. And it makes sense that it would be in here because it looks like mains voltage comes in right all the way right to here on this micro switch. And the other one's here on this resistor. It doesn't appear. Well, I don't know, I may be able to get that main wire out of there, but I'm not exactly sure how without taking these brush holders out. And spider crawling on my shirt. Oh well. Boy, I did a lot of staring at this. So there's 2 screws that hold this plate in there, which would then allow me access to the bottom of this, so I could change out that wire. But these brush holders are in the way. The only way to get that plate out is to remove these brush holders, and that scares the shit out of me because if you break those, you're out of luck. You need those. It's not like you can just run down the shop and get a new one. So I can see this one's already got a crack in it right there. Probably can't even pick that up, but this one's cracked. Oh yeah. Anyway, I'm going to start by taking that off because some of this wire I think is okay. This obviously is not. Look at the state of that. Sorry, this video is an absolute mess. Look at the state of that wire. That thing is shocking. Pun intended. See that gear down in there now? You can't really. Anyway, stand by. I decided to take a break from the motor head section and turn my attention to this armature. I wanted to pull these bearings off. Not sure. Let's try this. Oh, look at that. That's coming right off. No way. Psh, I probably didn't even need to get this puller. Wow. That came off so easily. See that bearings. Either seen heat or something. Wow. That came off so easily. Wow. Very cool. I'll probably want to put some... Oh, that seems very tight. Is that the same? It's nice and quiet. What about this one? Oh dear, that is tight. It may require some brute force. I'd be lucky if this thing works by the time I'm done with it. Jeez. Let's see if that one just slips off. Went too far. I didn't have to put a tool on that last one. Oh, this one's the same way. Look at that. Tighter near the end. Once again, not in frame, sorry. Boy. Whoa. I got this bearing puller, whatever, on Amazon. It wasn't expensive. I think it was like $11, something like that. If I put something better in the end of it here, might make my life a little easier. Here it comes. Now, that was there. That was there. I'm going to get that on and that on. And I don't think that's going to be near as simple as when I just took that off. Although, it does fit. I got all this. Wow, that's what all that stuff is. It's crap from that inside of that wire. I think in order to get these bearings on, I'm going to need to take this down to the workshop and probably put this in the vise and give this a tap, 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 tap the end with a socket, deep socket, and then maybe once it's going, then turn it around and tap it the other way, tap the end of this carefully. Clean that up. Alright, well, can't do that at this workbench, that's for sure. Alright, so back to this thing. Yikes. I can see already that this black wire has quite a few cuts and splits in it. I need to take some pictures of this down in here because I think by the time I get anywhere with this, half of these are going to be snapped off from all the wiggling back and forth like that. Because I believe I got to try to figure out these brush holders and get them out of there. Do not want to break them though. I'll be back. Well, if you can believe it, I got those things out of there. Good Lord. I ended up dripping some oil, some just whatever, 3-in-1 oil down through there. Down through these little holes, which lead directly to those throughways. And they're not threaded, they're just they just push in. But this one's cracked. This one's cracked. This one, I did exactly what I said I didn't want to do. But, you know, it didn't crumble. We'll be able to repair it. Just got to be careful not to get glue in those threads right there, because that's where the little cap goes for the brushes. So you need that. So I'm thinking that I'll limit the glue to beyond this threaded area. So just down this longer part here is where I'll put the glue, and I'll ignore this area when I apply the glue, just to avoid it getting in those threads, because if you can't screw those little caps in, then the brushes don't stay in. These little plastic caps here, I really am rubbish at. So those fit in there like that. And if you've got the threads full of glue, that's not going to work right. So anyway, just thought I'd share the progress. And now, actually, I should be able to get those. Probably is the best, because I can see there's old grease in there, and you know, that means it's going to be full of dust and garbage and junk, and I don't believe there's any plastic parts on this. Those, no, that's a brass gear. And so here is what I'm talking about. Now, see this switch? That's good. I'll be able to clean all these contacts now too, because those are guaranteed to have gotten yucky over the years. So now, as not sure what just fell. So as this shaft turns, it rotates this cam, which then closes this contact right there. Which is then in relation to this switch here. This is a double switch. Why would any of this be here if it wasn't made to reverse the motor automatically? Otherwise, what's the point? There is none. You would just simply have a couple of wires going up to this motor. That doesn't seem to do anything, obviously, but you gotta remember, this is turning really fast. Nice little brushes. You can tell this actually hasn't had all that much use. Look how long the brushes are. My goodness. You know, something this old with constant use, you'd expect those have been worn down to the nub. But, I mean, they got a ton of life left. So cool. I was able to get this all the way apart. Did have some damages, but that's okay. That's recoverable. We can deal with this. That just needs a little bit of glue. Resolder the leads on. Nothing to it. They originally had these little, this little loop or a little flap that was soldered to the top here, and that was where your wire connected on. I may try to re-implement that, or I may just solder the wires directly to these brush holders. which I think, you know, hassle-wise is the way to go. A lot less hassle. Just to solder directly onto those brush holders. So that's what we're going to try. In the meantime, I'm not going to go with that yet. I'm going to clean up this part, get all the old grease off of it, inspect these connections, clean the contacts on these switches with a little tiny microfile, get rid of that. You can see where somebody has been at this before. Some melted, some solder ball there, and it's pretty cool. It's a neat mechanism. This is also going to get, now that it's completely empty, yay, this is going to get sandblasted. I don't know what I'm going to do about this. Try to preserve what's there, maybe just mask it off. You know what's interesting is, as I look at this, there's extra holes. There and there. Almost like it had a different tag on it at one time. Weird. I'm not sure what kind of a Frankenstein machine I've got here, but we're going to get it going. Whoop. Washers. That's what fell. There's a split washer right there. That was beneath that. So was that set down in there? Nope. That was below. That was there. I've dropped one. Watchmaker life. See you in a few.